He was born in the silence of poverty, but found his voice in the silence of others. This is the story of João, a boy from the outskirts who transformed his life and the lives of thousands of people through a gift that few understood. From a humble church to the stages of the world's top universities, this is a journey of overcoming, empathy, and discovery. João was born in a small house with exposed brick walls in the heart of São Paulo's outskirts. His father worked as a masonry helper, while his mother washed clothes for neighbors, trying to supplement the family income. Despite the hardships, there was one thing that brought the family together every Sunday: the service at the local church. For them, faith was more than just a belief. It was a refuge, a way to find comfort amid adversity. The church was modest but full of life. Its worn concrete walls held stories of struggle and hope. It was during one of these services that João encountered something that would change his life forever. While he watched the priest delivering the sermon at the altar, his eyes were drawn to a group of people sitting in the front. Among them were interpreters using Libras to translate the homily for the deaf congregants. The interpreters' hands moved with fluidity and precision, crafting a silent language that seemed rich with meaning. Fascinated, João began to closely observe those gestures. After the service, he asked the priest about them. The priest explained that these individuals were interpreters, responsible for including the deaf worshippers in the celebration. It was a special language, known as Libras, used by the deaf community to communicate. Intrigued, João decided to learn more and started attending informal gatherings organized by members of the deaf community after the services. It was there that he met Maria, a young deaf woman who would become his first friend in this new world. With patience, she taught him the basic signs, while João also watched online videos and practiced alone in front of the mirror. Every new sign he mastered felt like a personal victory, a door opening to a world he had never known before. This newfound passion gave João's life a sense of purpose. While other boys his age dreamed of becoming soccer players or famous singers, he had a clear goal. He wanted to be someone capable of building bridges between different worlds, connecting voices and silence. Yet the path he chose wouldn't be easy. Even as a child, he would face obstacles that would test his determination. How could a kid from the outskirts, without resources or formal support, transform his interest in Libras into something more? Still, João had already taken the first step, and, without even realizing it, he was about to embark on a journey that would change his life forever. With a heart brimming with curiosity and determination, João dove headfirst into learning Libras. However, he soon realized that his enthusiasm alone wouldn't be enough to overcome the challenges imposed by life in the outskirts. In the public school he attended, conditions were rough. Classrooms were overcrowded, teachers barely had the resources to teach, and many students had long given up on dreaming of a better future. João faced daily struggles. He could hardly keep up in class because of the shortage of proper educational materials. Moreover, his classmates couldn't understand his unusual interest in Libras. They mocked him, saying that it would never lead him anywhere. "Why are you wasting your time learning that? It's not going to get you anywhere," they would say. But João knew he had to keep going. He had found his purpose, and nothing, not even discouraging words, could derail him from the path he'd chosen. Determined to learn more, João began devoting extra hours every day to his studies. He relied on old books found at swap meets and scoured the internet for free resources. Without access to formal courses, He invented his own method of learning, combining practical exercise with the theoretical knowledge he could gather from the few available texts. He even practiced signs while walking along dusty streets, repeating them until they were permanently etched into his memory. It was during a visit to the municipal library that João met Dona Rosa, a kind volunteer who worked with deaf children in a social project. Impressed by the boy's genuine interest, she decided to help him. Dona Rosa introduced him to specialized books on linguistics and offered valuable tips on how to structure his studies. She even suggested that João apply for a scholarship program at a state university designed for underprivileged students. With almost superhuman effort, João prepared for the college entrance exam. He spent sleepless nights studying under the meager light of a lamp while his parents slept quietly in the next room. When the test day arrived, he was nervous yet confident. He knew this was his chance to change not only his own life, but also the lives of others. When he received the news that he had been admitted to the Bachelor of Arts program with an emphasis on Portuguese and Libras, João felt a mixture of relief and gratitude. Finally, he would have the opportunity to turn his passion for Libras into something bigger. However, this victory came with new challenges. Living away from home, dealing with privileged classmates, and managing his finances while studying were obstacles he would need to overcome. But João was no longer the same boy who used to race barefoot along unpaved streets. He had discovered an inner strength he hadn't fully recognized before. Now, he was about to step into an entirely new world, the world of the university. A place where opportunities seemed endless, yet the barriers also appeared insurmountable. How would he manage to adapt and thrive in an environment so different from the one he knew? University was an entirely new world for João. He found himself surrounded by students from backgrounds vastly different from his own. Many of his peers had attended private schools, had access to resources he never imagined, and always seemed a step ahead. In the beginning, João felt like a fish out of water. The classroom discussions were complex, the academic texts dense, and he struggled to keep up with the pace. But João didn't give up. He knew he needed to adapt quickly. In his second year, he joined a university extension project dedicated to the inclusion of deaf individuals. He was assigned to work in a specialized school, where he could put both his practical knowledge and theoretical learnings into action. This transformative experience deepened his connection to the deaf community and reinforced his resolve to become a researcher in the field. Through the project, João encountered deaf children who faced daily obstacles within an educational system often unprepared to include them. Witnessing their struggles firsthand only strengthened his conviction that he had to do something to change that reality. He began developing innovative strategies to teach Libras to hearing individuals and to foster communication between the deaf and those who could hear. By the end of his undergraduate studies, João had written a groundbreaking thesis on the relationship between religion and cultural identity within the Brazilian deaf community. His advisor was so impressed by the depth of his research that he urged João to continue his studies at the master's level. For João, this was a powerful validation of everything he had endured up to that point. During his master's program, João expanded his research to tackle global issues related to bilingual education for the deaf. He immersed himself in advanced studies on public policies aimed at the deaf community and began to dream big. His thesis proposed an innovative teaching model that merged Libras with Portuguese, easing the integration of deaf students into multicultural environments. João also started traveling to international conferences where he presented his work and met renowned experts in linguistics and inclusive education. His talent captured the attention of an American university, which offered him a full scholarship to pursue his doctorate in the United States. It was a unique opportunity, but also a significant challenge. Leaving behind his family and homeland to embark on a new journey would require immense courage and determination. In the United States, João would find an even more competitive and demanding environment. However, he would also have access to resources and mentors that would help him take his ideas to a global level. How would he use this opportunity to expand his impact and continue building bridges between worlds? The answer was about to be written in even grander chapters. In the United States, João dove headfirst into his doctoral studies. He was determined to use his research to create something that could transform the lives of deaf individuals on a global scale. During his investigations, he soon realized that despite significant progress in inclusion, a major barrier still remained: communication between the deaf and the hearing in digital environments. And it was then that he struck upon a bold and revolutionary idea. João began working on developing an artificial intelligence system designed to facilitate smooth and accessible communication between deaf and hearing people. His proposal was to create a system featuring a virtual avatar that could sign in Libras directly on a computer screen. In addition, the system would use a webcam to interpret the signs made by deaf users and automatically translate them into text or speech. It was an ambitious idea, but João believed that if he could bring it to life, he could forever change the way people interacted with technology. The first few months were challenging. João spent countless hours in the lab, surrounded by screens filled with lines of code and complex algorithms. He relied on the expertise of professionals in artificial intelligence, linguistics, and interface design. Yet, his strongest support came from the deaf community itself, which actively collaborated on the project. They helped refine the avatar's movements, ensuring that they were precise and honored the cultural nuances of Libras. After 2 years of relentless hard work, the system was finally completed. The avatar, christened Silencio Ativo, active silence, was incredibly lifelike. It could sign in Libras with fluidity and almost flawless interpretation, while the camera captured the signs made by deaf users and translated them instantaneously. When João showcased the project at an international conference, the response was unanimous. It was an innovation without precedent. The impact was immediate. Universities, technology companies, and governments in various countries expressed keen interest in the system. João was invited to expand his research to include other sign languages, such as ASL, American Sign Language, BSL, British Sign Language, and even lesser-known languages like JSL, Japanese Sign Language. He built a multicultural team to adapt the software, ensuring it would be accessible to deaf communities around the world. Yet, João wasn't driven solely by the pursuit of recognition or financial success. For him, the true aim was to democratize access to communication. He made a free version of the system available to schools and nonprofit organizations, ensuring that even underprivileged communities could benefit. His work not only made a significant academic impact, but also improved the quality of life for thousands of deaf people across the globe. With his research firmly established and his system being implemented worldwide, João returned to Brazil carrying a wealth of achievements and hard-earned lessons. But he knew there was still much to be done. How would he use everything he had accomplished to give back to the roots that had shaped him? The answer lay in a place he was intimately familiar with, the place where it all started. Back in Brazil, João was filled with both nostalgia and gratitude. He had come a long way from the curious boy who once watched the interpreters at the outskirts church. Now, he was recognized worldwide as one of the foremost experts in deaf education. Yet despite all his accomplishments, he knew his journey wouldn't be complete until he gave back to the roots that shaped him. João decided to return to where it all began, his old church in the outskirts. He organized a special visit, inviting Maria, the young deaf woman who introduced him to the world of Libras, and other members of the deaf community who had supported him during his early days. Together, they held a community event to celebrate inclusion and create opportunities for deaf children and teenagers in the area. During the event, João shared his story with everyone present. He spoke about the challenges he had faced, the people who had inspired him, and the global impact of the Silencio Ativo system. His message was clear: it doesn't matter where you come from or what obstacles you encounter along the way. If you find a purpose and pursue it with passion, you can transform not only your life but the lives of others. Among the attendees was a young woman named Anna, who dreamed of becoming a Libras teacher. After his speech, she timidly approached João, clutching a notebook filled with signed notes. Anna told him she wanted to follow in his footsteps but feared she wouldn't have the resources to study. João smiled and promised her help. He understood her feelings all too well, having once been in her shoes. In the following months, João founded a research lab in his hometown, focused on assistive technology and inclusive education. He offered scholarships to young people like Anna, ensuring they had access to the same opportunities he once did. The lab also served as a training center for interpreters and educators, equipping them to work more effectively with the deaf community. But João's greatest legacy wasn't found in the awards he received or the systems he developed. It was in the lives he touched. Deaf children who once struggled to be included in school now had access to the tools that helped them learn and communicate. Young people like Anna found the inspiration to pursue their dreams, knowing that someone believed in them. Years later, João was invited to speak at a global conference on inclusion and technology. As he took the stage, he looked out at the packed audience and saw faces from diverse cultures, languages, and backgrounds. Among them were Maria, Anna, and many others whose lives had been transformed by his work. He began his speech with a simple yet powerful statement: silence has never been an obstacle. On the contrary, it has always been a bridge. For the first time, he signed that phrase in several sign languages, moving everyone deeply. When the conference ended, João returned home with a peaceful smile on his face. He knew his work would continue to resonate through the generations. After all, he hadn't just built bridges between different worlds, he had taught others to do the same. João proved that even in silence, there are voices capable of changing the world. He demonstrated that empathy, determination, and love for others can transform adversity into opportunity. And as he continues to inspire people, his story remains a reminder that no matter how distant our dreams may seem, they are always within reach for those brave enough to pursue them. Like and subscribe to watch many exciting stories told with thousands of bricks.